have some more.
You know who didn't pass, though? We're very lucky to have here.
Yes, now, take it away, Willie,
well,
please.
the Democratic senator from Arkansas, Senator Blanche Lincoln, standing by patiently while we act like idiots. Just this week, Gail, Senator, you've been urging your colleagues to vote on a bill to reauthorize federal child nutrition programs, and good for you. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for talking about healthy foods. That's what we're all about.
Slow clap for Blanche Lincoln.
Mika forces us to, but we're glad you're here.
Good for Mika.
Tell us about the work you're doing, Senator.
Well, we've got a historic opportunity right now, and you know, quite frankly, if we don't seize this opportunity, we're liable to lose it. But the fact is we've got to do something about creating a healthier environment for our kids, and we've got our Healthy Kids Act, which we passed unanimously out of the Senate Agriculture Committee. It is paid for, and it's a wonderful opportunity not only to put healthier foods in our schools, but also increase for the first time since 1973 the federal reimbursement for school feeding programs. You know, our kids are our greatest resource in this nation, and if we don't take care of them, you know, they're not going to reach their full potential. So it's a great opportunity.
And wouldn't you say, Senator, I mean, the guys here like to make fun of me, but they actually agree with me.
Sure,
when it comes to childhood obesity, I mean, which is linked to poverty, which is linked to health, obviously, and their future and our nation's security, ultimately. If you look at obesity in the military, this is an epidemic that we have to look at.
It's a huge epidemic, and it costs us so much, Mika. Yes. $147 billion every year because of this issue of obesity. What we do, and I look at what Arkansas has, 1 in every 4 children in Arkansas is hungry, and 1 in every 5 child in Arkansas is obese. We've got to deal with these issues. The cost to us, both in terms of our future and the people, these children that are going to be the future leaders of our country and workers, but also in terms of the cost to health care. Huge epidemic, and we can start where it should be started, and that's in our schools, obviously in our families and in our homes, but this is where a lot of our children get their meals. Absolutely. They get a breakfast program, they get a lunch program. We've got school service programs, food service programs that are using 50-year-old equipment, you know, and we're reimbursing them at a 1973 rate. If we were trying to buy groceries by today's standards with $1973, we couldn't do it either. So this is a great opportunity, and it's also a great opportunity to show the American people that we can legislate, and we can do it by the rules. We've been through the committee, you know, we've paid for the bill, it's bipartisan.
I love it. Now I want to get Gail Collins in just a second, but first of all, Pat, you look like you're ready to go. You couldn't have a problem with this, could you?
Well, no, what I'm asking is, look, back in 1970 we had 0 people on food stamps. Now you got 35 million, got gigantic school lunch programs, all these other programs, and they got all these unhealthy kids. Senator Lincoln, who's responsible for our spending scores of billions of dollars and having basically failed to have healthy kids and having obese adults all over America, despite the fact we're bankrupting ourselves, we're in debt. Our debt is enormous.
Well, I don't disagree with you on any of those points. The fact is this doesn't contribute to the debt because it's paid for. And you're exactly right. One of the great things about this bill is it sets standards. These are standards that are set by USDA in conjunction with the Institute of Medicine that really focuses on how do we eliminate this epidemic of obesity? How do we start providing healthier foods, presenting a healthier culture to our children, helping to teach them healthier eating habits so that they'll take those home from school. A lot of it does start in the home. A lot of it just starts in our culture. The other thing that's great about here is for the first time, we actually make that the standards in terms of the foods that kids can access in school, even in the vending machines, has to meet that same standard of the ones that are served in the lunchroom. So, you know, we're trying to change this, and this is a great way to start.
Gail, I want to hear from you on this.
I'm just loving Pat's look. It looks like healthy foods in the schools.
They've been putting all these foods in the schools, and the kids aren't healthy. Why aren't somebody being held accountable for failing?
That's fair. And Gail, I mean,
it's part of his private enterprise. You know what the nutritionists say. One of the problems is that so often the schools, in order to save money, are bringing in, you know, McDonald's or somebody else, or have been, to serve their lunches.
But couldn't you argue that, I mean, the senator at least is trying to do something here, that this is potentially our top problem? I mean, it literally relates to everything. Our debt, our health care, our future. I mean, people are going to die younger. They're going to have less fulfilling lives. They're going to have less productive lives because they are obese. And I know go ahead, Senator.
The first generation that is predicted not to live as long as the previous generation because of these types of circumstances.
We have to look at this. We have
Absolutely.
to.
Well, and when you talk about meals being brought into schools and other things, that's what this bill changes. Those meals have to meet a standard now. They have to meet a standard in the lunchroom, anything that comes in through vending machines. And we've now got, you know, the manufacturers and others on board to help us do this. I mean, this is a bill that we've worked to find the common ground and to bring forward, again, both an increase in the resources to make sure we're producing and providing healthier foods, and also making sure that, you know, that we're teaching children better eating habits, fresh fruits and vegetables, and a host of other types of programs.
I couldn't agree with you more, Senator. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Jim Cramer does make a good point. There are other stories happening, financial regulation being one that the senator could talk about. I could talk about obesity forever. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Senator Lincoln, one of the most important issues was what to do with these major investment banks and the possibility that they are going to fail. This morning, Bank of America, 45 minutes ago, puts out a research note on Goldman Sachs. They met with Goldman Sachs yesterday. Goldman Sachs says no major revisions nor business model adjustments required by FinReg. Does that mean you failed?
No, we haven't failed at all. Some of these institutions were already having to take out their riskiest business and put it into affiliates. That's what we want to see happen out of this bill. We want to make sure that there's 100% transparency, real-time reporting. I mean, the whole idea here is that the risky nature of the business that these institutions were engaged in had no oversight, no regulation. Now they're going to be completely regulated, completely transparent, real-time reporting, so you, the public, and the regulators will be able to see that and will be able to take care of all of those risky deals that were going on, and you're going to see greater competition and stability in the marketplace.
But prop trading and private equity caused no failures, yet that was the focus of FinReg. It was lending that caused the failures. That was not the focus of FinReg.
It was lending, but it was also the risky nature of the deals and the derivatives that were being built. Some of them were being leveraged at 50 to 1. You know, there's just no way that we could have survived to continue to let that happen. If we hadn't done something in financial reg reform, we would still be back where we were in 2008 when this crisis happened. I think we started with a great bill, and I think certainly we can make improvements to it, and we should, and I hope that we will. That's our job, is to continue to look at how we improve. But if we hadn't done it to begin with, we'd have been in trouble.
Senator Lincoln, thank you very much. Jim, will you speak to me ever again?
Possibly.
Okay, we'll see. Aaron Burnett's top 3 business headlines next on Morning Joe.